What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the Quartering, and it's happening. That's right. There has been a massive influx of new users to alternative tech, in particular, a massive amount of people leaving Twitter for Parler. I woke up this morning and checked Parler like I do every morning, and for some inexplicable reason to me at the time, had nearly 50,000 additional followers. I currently have 117,000 followers on the platform. I think this morning when I was first blown away, I had like 113,000. And I couldn't understand why. I thought I got bot followed or something like that. But it turns out, well, first of all, apparently I'm on the suggested accounts to follow. So thanks, Parler. Looks like I got a bunch of new viewers there. But also there was a mass exodus for the exact reason we had all been waiting for. Now, whether or not you're happy or sad about the upcoming, potentially the upcoming change in leadership in this country, I hope that you'll continue to fight against censorship with me. I hope that you'll continue to battle for our right to have conversations on these platforms, because it is my fear that things are about to get much worse. I hope that I'm wrong. I really do. But when I'm seeing, the president-elect Joe Biden's plan to combat meanness online, that makes me very concerned, because we know that platforms have zero interest in protecting us. But now Parler has become the #1 app in certain app stores. Let's take a look at the story. By the way, smash thumbs up if you like to see alternatives out there. Now, look, I don't want a conservative Twitter. That's not what I wanted. And it appears to be that's how this is being branded, but I don't want that. I don't want an echo chamber. I want normies to join Parler. I want non-political people to join Parler, because this is not good. You don't want an echo chamber. Now, I think Twitter in and of itself is fairly echo chambery. There are a few loud conservative voices, but the overwhelming majority are left-leaning, which is why they all, fillet each other, and they think they're right about everything because there's never anyone there to tell them they're wrong. Well, unfortunately, down the road, if more normies don't join Parler or BitChute or these other alternative video sites or social media sites, you're going to have the same problem on Parler. Now, I will say that I believe that for conservatives who are leaving for the right reasons, which I hope are just the obvious censorship that we saw on, front and center from both Twitter and Facebook in the last week, I hope that's really what drove people for something new. I'm surprised so many people came from Facebook to Parler and not from Facebook to Minds. I'm sure that Minds saw a surge too. But this, according to Newsweek, social media platform Parler is topping Apple and Google download charts this week after Joe Biden's potential election victory over Donald Trump. Pitched as an alternative to Facebook and Twitter, the Parler app has pitched itself as a, quote, free speech social network that is populated by Republican politicians and a variety of right-wing personalities who have been exiled from mainstream services. Now, I don't think that's true. I have 117,000 people that follow me on Parler, and it continues to go up every hour. And I don't think those are all, what do you call them? Like refugees from Twitter or Facebook. In the U.S., as of today, Parler is the #1 Apple free download and the Google Play Store, according to data from analytics firm Sensor Tower, which indicated the app had attracted more than 200,000 downloads last month collectively on both stores. The exact size of the app's user base is not clear. However, CEO of Parler, John Matz, indicated in a post yesterday that it had received up to 2 million new accounts. We expected 1 million or so people, but 2? You guys are crazy. 2 million new accounts on a social media app. If they can keep up this growth rate, it is not only going to rival Twitter, but it could dwarf it. Understand that, like, I forget what the exact number is, but this will be directional. Something like 10% of all tweets made on Twitter's platform. I'm sorry. The overwhelming majority of all tweets on the Twitter platform is made by less than 10% of the users. You could apply the 80-20 rule there, roughly. I don't want that to be the case on Parler. I don't want that to be the case on BitChute. And I don't want this to be a conservative safe space. I don't want that. As conservatives reel from Trump's potential defeat, well-followed users on Twitter have appealed for their users to sign up for Parler in recent days, most citing censorship. The app currently sits above TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram in recent downloads. Last Friday, Fox Business News host Maria Bartiromo claimed that she would abandon Twitter in favor of Parler after some of her updates were hidden behind a flag warning. Users that use her post contained information or disputed claims. Former Speaker of the House Newt Gingrich last week urged his Twitter followers to join him on Parler, claiming Twitter had tried to silence his views and opinions. Mark Levin, a right-wing radio personality, has repeatedly advertised Parler over the past week, claiming Facebook is on a suppression campaign against his post sharing anecdotal evidence of a, quote, exodus from the Mark Zuckerberg-led website. Trump campaign advisor Katrina Pearson said last Friday that Trump joining Parler would make Twitter irrelevant, saying Jack Dorsey couldn't interfere with the election or censor Trump supporters anymore, while also promoting her own profile. 7 high-profile users already active on Parler platform, including Senator Ted Cruz, Sean Hannity, Congressman Devin Nunes, and Eric Trump. The president does not have an active Parler profile. However, his campaign does. President Trump, I know you're a million years old, but it's just a different app you install on your phone. Yes, it can be a little clunky at times, but we need critical mass. 2 million users in one day is great, but we need 20 million. And the only way we're going to get that is if somebody like President Trump, he doesn't have to abandon Twitter. He just has to create an account and let people know that they can find him there. Now, it feels weird shilling for some website that I have no financial interest in, but I do have financial interest in my viewers actually seeing my posts. If you're a content creator and you're not using Parler, you're making a huge mistake. If you're a content creator and you aren't mirroring your videos to BitChute, you're making a huge mistake. Trump complained last week that Twitter was out of control after labeling dozens of his posts for possibly containing falsehoods. Without evidence, the president has repeatedly suggested that Democrats are trying to take the election and so on and so forth. This via TechCrunch. Free speech social media network Parler tops App Store rankings following Biden's election win. Chaffing at the new misinformation safeguards and a lost election, dejected Trump supporters flocked to the alternative social network Parler over the weekend. No, I don't think that's why. I hope that's not why. I hope people looking at this said, okay, this is an issue. This censorship is an issue. I should be able to see what people tweet who I want to follow. I can already tell you when I use Parler, people actually see my posts. The amount of interaction on my posts is significantly higher on Parler than it is on Twitter. Significantly. Many of my posts getting hundreds. Here's 637 upvotes, 144 retweets. I don't get that kind of reach on Twitter. I didn't get that kind of reach on Twitter even when I had fewer followers. I would always consistently outperform the views. Look at 47,000 people saw this post from 2 hours ago. I'll never get that kind of reach on Twitter. Now, I wish there were more alternatives than just Parler, because if you end up putting all of your eggs in the Parler basket, well, then they could end up, being bought by some competitor or turning into the same exact problem. But 1 million downloads since Election Day, 2 million new users, that number could be 10. We cannot rely exclusively on Twitter and mainstream Silicon Valley for our videos. That's why I take the extra time to make sure I have a presence on Odyssey, on BitChute, on Minds, on Parler. And it sounds like I'm Santa talking to my reindeer, but as each new viable alternative comes up, I will support it. And yeah, it takes extra time. So if people don't put in the time, these alternatives will never have a chance. Yeah, it sucks to have to manage 10 different social media accounts for myself. But the average user can have a Parler account and a Twitter account. You don't have to leave Twitter, but just get a taste of what alt tech is. Get a taste of what it's like to have your message heard, to have your opinion matter, to, have people see your opinion in the conversation. All these salty articles coming out today is only going to continue to push what is Parler free speech, they put in parentheses or in quotes, social network jumps in popularity. I don't think that it's necessarily because Trump lost the election. It's because a lot of people who weren't aware of the ongoing censorship saw it happening in real time, and they woke up. And I can't say that I wish it was under different circumstances, but I'm glad people are finally starting to make the move. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.